Today, I'm going to be walking you through how to set up some parental controls on your iPad or your iPhone to make it safe for your kids to use. Let's jump in. Today, just for example's sake, I'm going to be on my iPad. It gives me a bigger screen so I can show you all these features a little bit better. But all of this is the same thing as it would be on your iPhone, so you can do that as well. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up some screen time limits on our iPad. If you don't want your kid to be using the iPad or iPhone for as long as they want, for hours and hours on end, you can limit that within the controls. So what we're going to do is we're going to head over to our settings. Just going to search for our settings here. And then over on the side here, we're just going to scroll down until we see screen time. Click on that. And you can see it shows the usage of the device, whatever that is, of how much that's being used. But what we want to look at is the limit usage. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set downtime. So we're going to click on that. Where it says scheduled, you can just toggle that on. And you can either say every day or you can customize the days. If you customize the days, it'll allow you to make different changes for each day of the week. But let's just say we want to do every day. And we want the downtime that the device is not allowed to be used. So right now it's 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. Let's say I want it to be, bedtime is at 7. So at 7 p.m., they're not able to use it. And you know what? I don't want them using it until 3 p.m. when they get home from school. So we go done. So now every day from 7 p.m. until the following 3 p.m., the device will be unable to use. Then we're just going to back out of that. Underneath there, you'll see always allowed. And what you can do here is you can select the apps that even if it's in a downtime, they can still use. So maybe you want the phone, the messenger, the FaceTime, maps I have included in there. And then you could even add additional apps. So maybe they have an app that they use for school and you want to allow them to use that if they're going to be doing some homework or things like that. You can kind of customize that. But I always recommend at least for the phone and the messages, maybe you still want them to be able to use that. We'll back out of that. And then you can also dial this in even more. You can set app limits. So it says right there, you click on that. You can add a limit. Let's say for games, we want to have all games there. And we go next. And you could set a limit and say, hey, I only want an hour every day of games. So you add that. Then you could add a limit for, let's say, our social. We go next. And I want to say, hey, I want to only allow 2 hours of time for social. And we click add there. So you can customize that for the different kind of limits you want to put on individual apps as well as the whole thing. Now we're going to scroll down a little bit further here and you can see communication limits. So we click on that and you can have during screen time, everyone is allowed. During downtime, we can select that and click on specific contacts and be able to say that during the downtime, they can only communicate with mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, brother, sister, whatever. You can dial that in even more so that they're not just contacting anyone and everyone. You also have the option during screen time, you could limit that as well. I like to leave it on contacts only so that they can't be contacting anybody new, but it has to be somebody that's already built into the contact. So that's a nice feature there too. And then next under communication, you see communication safety. We're going to tap on that, turn that on. And what this does is no matter what they're doing, anytime, anywhere, it's going to restrict sensitive material or adult images and things like that. It's going to filter that out as well. So overall, to sort of filter out things that you don't want your kids seeing. And then we're going to head down here where you see content and privacy restrictions. Click on that. And we're going to toggle that on. And here you can limit iTunes app purchases. You can say if you require a password so that now anything that's purchased, anything that is downloaded, they have to add a password for, or you could just say installing apps don't allow that. All right. You could just limit that immediately. Okay. Deleting apps. You could also say they're not allowed to delete any apps. You could really get those dialed in. In-app purchases. This is another great one. And then as you keep scrolling down, you see lock screen time settings. Important thing to do is add a passcode that'll pop up anytime that it goes into the lock mode, the screen lock mode or times out. that there's a passcode. So you can override that if you need to, if you're using it or something like that. Have it be a passcode that your child, if they're old enough, they're not able to punch that in themselves. Okay. And then you can also set it to share across devices. So if you have, your iPad and your iPhone, you can set it once on one device and share it across all your devices. And with that, you've now been able to restrict usage of your electronic devices so that your kids can use that and you don't have to worry about them overusing it or getting into the apps or making purchases that they shouldn't. I hope you found this video helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.